What's up, buddy? Spot the gym. Are we alive? I'm joined by Breyer's Music Showcase, and we are discussing our top five songs of the 1980s and top five songs of the 1990s. We've done this for the 60s and 70s before, so if you haven't watched that live stream, highly recommend to do so. But today we talk about our favorite songs of the 80s and 90s. So it's great. It's great to have you on my channel once again, Bryer.
Yeah, thanks for having
The
me.
last,
Yeah,
the
it's
last
a
time
lot
we
of
did
fun
this
doing
was
this.
in I think it was early June. The last time we did a live stream together.
Yeah,
So,
I
so it's
believe
been
so.
just over a couple of months. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we'll do the 80s first, then the 90s. Should we do honorable mentions first or after?
I'm fine with either. I mean,
We'll,
we can probably
we'll,
say
we'll do the honorable mentions last.
okay, yeah. I was about to say, yeah.
So I guess we'll just get started with our number five, and I'll let you go first, Brian, for your fifth favorite song of the 1980s.
All right. Cool. All right. So 80s, probably my second favorite decade in music, so there was a ton to choose from. Honestly, my list could change really anytime, but I'm going with these five for now. So the first one I'm going to talk about is one that I actually don't own on a CD as of now, but I have the movie it was featured in. It was used as the end credits. And of course, it was used in this movie right here.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And the song in question is If We Hold On Together, sung by Diana Ross. And yeah, the song's always had a special place in my heart. I mean, I'll admit is nowadays it is kind of cheesy, kind of corny, but I guess that's what I love about it. It just has a good message to it that I've always liked, and of course, Diana has always had a great voice, and really sings that song really well. And and I always remember those times where I would play the movie, whether it's on DVD or on VHS, and I would always just replay the song over and over again, just rewind it back to the beginning of the credits, and just to hear the song. And I still do that to this day. So, yeah, it's a nice ballad, and so yeah, it's my number five.
I've still not seen any of the Land Before Time films. I'm
Yeah,
like 17 behind.
yeah, don't worry about it. I'd say, I'd say, for in terms of the sequels, you're not missing much. I'd say watch the first one. That's is by far the
Yeah.
best.
I know it's one of your favorite movies.
Yeah, it is.
I've heard that song. Yeah, yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah,
Hmm.
beautiful.
Well, my number five is a very different sounding song, and it's by the band Bon Jovi, and it's called
Okay,
Blood on Blood. It's my
okay.
favorite song of Bon Jovi's. It didn't used to be, but recently it's been my favorite song of theirs. And
Yeah,
it's
I don't think
one
I've
of my
heard
favorite
that one.
80s. It's one of my favorite 80s rock songs. It's got one of my favorite 80s guitar solos, and I love the lyrics on the vocals on that one. I just think it's just a classic 80s song, in my opinion. It's quite a long song. I think it's nearly about 6 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
But, but I still think it's a fantastic song. But maybe just it's a little bit too long, which is why it's only my number five. But it's still a great song though.
Okay, what album is that on?
It's from New Jersey.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that
It
album.
came out in the late 80s.
Gotcha.
That's that's my favorite Bon Jovi album.
All right, cool.
So we'll continue on with our number four.
All right, number four. Now, this is one I'm sure, like, I'd say 80, probably 98% of people have not heard this song because I'm going to be a little extra, maybe a bit, I'm going to throw a little curveball and actually showcase a Japanese song.
Okay.
And I've talked about this person many times on my channel. This person's become a new obsession for me. But the artist is named Maria Takeyoshi, and this is her out in the album that the song's on is called Variety, and the song I'm going with is the song called Plastic Love, and you know it's a great. I mean, in Japan, it's kind of classified in the subgenre known as city pop, where it sounds like you're just driving down the busy city, like a busy city at night, just watching the lights, and it just fits the mood to it, and it definitely feels like that. And musically it's just so great. It sounds incredible. Like the bass playing is what kind of drew me in originally because it just has a great groove to it. And I already talked about the production, but of course her singing is really great, even though it's Japanese and I don't know what she's singing, but it still sounds great to my ears. And yeah, I really I'm having a hard time describing it, but I'd say go give it a listen to kind of gives you a little taste on what her music is like. And yeah, really underrated in my opinion.
I'll have to check that song out. I recognise the album cover. I
Okay,
think you've
yeah,
shown it on your channel before.
yeah, yeah. I've shown it many times.
Well, I'll continue on line number 4. And it's by Guns N' Roses, my favourite song by Guns N' Roses. And it's
Yeah,
Patience.
good one.
It's from their G and R Lies album. I think that also came out in the late 80s as well. It's a very different song to what they normally do. It's
Yeah,
definitely not a hard rock sort of
yeah,
song. It's very acoustic based, and I think that's why I love it. And yeah, it's definitely like my sort of music, and I love the whistling at the beginning of the song. It's probably my favorite inclusion of whistling in any song, and I love the acoustic guitar playing. It's probably Slash doing not doing that,
yeah,
and I think it's quite an underrated acoustic guitar player. He's not. I don't really think he's done that many songs on the acoustic guitar though. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic song, and I just think it's one that not enough people talk about as well. But yeah, that's my number 4.
yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah. I think it was a hit for them, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the divisive song where, of course,
Yeah,
if you're really a hard rock fan, you're not gonna like the slow songs. But I mean, I think it's a great song regardless.
yeah, definitely is.
All right, so moving on to my number three. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So now my number three. Now we're going back to English. So next up, of course, I'm going to talk about the Police next, and this is one of my favorite songs, really of all time. Of course, it's off Ghost and Machines, and of course, I'm talking about Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Just the beginning section alone is why I love it so much. It just has that nice nice ascending line just going up, and the piano's kind of working around it along with the guitar. I just love the sound of it. Of course, Sting vocals on here sound really great and so catchy. The chorus just so uplifting and bouncy to it. And of course, the drumming is also keeping that beat going. And yeah, it's a perfect pop song in my opinion. One of the great pop songs ever. Just how well it comes all together. So that's gonna be my number three.
It definitely should have opened that album. I
Yeah,
think it's the second track on the album.
yeah, second track.
But I've just noticed behind you, you've got the 80s and 90s picture.
Yeah,
That's the exact same I've got for my thumbnail.
yeah, yeah. I just googled the live stream and I just downloaded the image.
Cool. Well, my number 3 is my favorite song by Paul McCartney, and it's One of These Days. I've talked about it before, my top 5 favorite Paul McCartney songs, but I'll still talk about it here. It's a very relaxing song, and I think it's a perfect album closer to the McCartney 2 album, which I think is very underrated. I think it's a very underrated song as well. I think Paul does one of his best vocal performances here. And there's not a lot going on instrumentally, but I don't feel that there needs to be. And the instruments we do get are still done. They're still done brilliantly. Yeah, it's just one of my favorite chill out songs, and I think it's a beautiful, I think it's beautifully done song. Yeah, that makes my number 3.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, number two. Okay, we're going to talk about Tears for Fears now. And it's my favorite, of course, talking about my favorite song by them. And it's, of course, it's Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Another one of those perfect, like pop rock sort of songs. Just the beginning guitar line just immediately hooks you in, and the whole keyboard sound to it's just so infectious. And the vocals, the vocals are very, even though they're very low, they just you just kind of I just like the sound of it mainly. And I think lyrically, I think it really holds up to today because very relevant still. Um, but yeah, it's a great, wonderful pop song, and I love it so much, and I love this whole album. So that's my number two.
I don't really know many songs from Tears for Fears other than that one. That's their biggest song.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of their big songs. But yeah, if you are gonna check out more Tears for Fears, then of course this is definitely a must go to because this pretty much has their most well known songs. So and it's still their best album.
Cool. Well, my number two is by Neil Diamond. It's called Hello Again.
Okay,
One,
cool.
one of my favorite love songs of all time. It's in my top 25 songs of all time. I think everything about it's perfect, and I love the inclusion of the song in the film The Jazz Singer, which the song is in that is in that soundtrack, and it appeared a couple of times in that movie. So I think Neil Diamond must have known it was a really good song to include it twice in the film. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I think he does a very powerful vocal performance here, and this came out in 1980, so it just made this list. But yeah, that gets my number two.
All right, nice to see Neil Diamond represented. That's always nice.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're up to my number one, and I feel like I have to talk about this person, especially talking one of my favorite female artists of all time, and of course, gotta be Kate Bush. And it's kind of I know it's gonna be like a very cliche answer, but of course I'm going to go with Running Up That Hill. I mean, even though it got really popular because of Stranger Things, and there's some people out there who are like, oh, this song's not that good. It's only popular because of Stranger Things, but I disagree. It's still one of the great songs of the '80s. Just that kind of sounds like I think it's a drum machine, but the drum machine just again that driving rhythm to it, and again the vocals is what drew me in, of course, with her vocal style. And yeah, I think lyrically, I love the lyrics to it. It's just so interesting and not something that was not sure that was sung about a lot during that time. But yeah, I absolutely love the production to it. Again, the keyboards, the synths on it, just absolutely infectious. And yeah, it's a terrific song. So gotta be my number one.
That's probably my favorite 80s song by a female singer. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could have guessed that was number one. So
yeah,
I remember that being in your top 10 songs of all time.
yeah. It's definitely up there.
Well, my favorite song of the 80s, and you're going to be pleased with this choice, it's Radio Gaga by Queen.
Ooh,
One of
nice.
my favorite Queen songs, and it's always been one of my favorite songs of all time. I just absolutely love it, and it's got my favorite use of synthesizers in any song, and it's very anthemic song. I love the chorus as well.
Yeah,
I think the music video for it is really great. It's got a sci-fi sort of look to it,
yeah.
and
Just
this is the reason
taking
why.
yeah, yeah. So he's just taking footage
Yeah,
from Metropolis, basically.
yeah, and this is the reason why she's called Lady Gaga is
Oh
because of
yeah,
Radio Gaga.
exactly.
Yeah, but the lyrics aren't the most meaningful, but I still do really like the lyrics. But
Mm,
I think the guitar playing by Brian May is fantastic, and everyone does a fantastic job in this song. And yeah, it's my favorite song of the 80s, and I think it's always been my favorite song of the 80s.
yeah, that's a good choice. I didn't mention a Queen in the '80s, but and that's of course I might talk about Queen in the '90s, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But we'll not talk about honorable mentions, so I'll let you go first, Briar.
All right, so I just picked out five honorable mentions here. So go through them. So first up, I have Peter Gabriel. I went with "In Your Eyes," beautiful love song. Just absolutely love the sound of it. Again, kind of taking that African influence in terms of the rhythm to it, but still very good. Next up, I'm going with or Without You" by U2. Another fantastic ballad during that time. Okay, I haven't really talked about any like heavy metal in my list, but definitely want to shout out this one. We have Queensryche with with Eyes of a Stranger, which is the last song on this album. I mean, the whole album is kind of telling a story. It's a rock opera basically, but the final song just pretty much sums up the whole album, just brings it back full circle. Yeah, and of course the Jeff Tate's vocals on there just mind blowing. But yep,
What
so that's another.
what album's that one?
It's called Operation Mindcrime.
Because I've definitely heard some of those songs on that album.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my dad's favorite albums.
Oh cool. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. If I were to have my top 100 favorite albums, like this album would be on it.
Cool. I'll definitely check it out at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Two more. Tracy Chapman with Fast Car. Just a great acoustic number. And again, the lyrics is what I love about it. Just love her vocals on it. It's just a very unique sound to it. And yep, had to mention that one. And last one I'll mention is Here I Go Again by, of course, Whitesnake, which definitely want to shout them out as well.
Well, I'll go through all my old mentions, and they're my 10th to 6th favourite songs of the 80s. So I'll just get my notes on it now. So my number 10 is California Blue by Roy Orbison.
Okay.
My number 9 is Handle with Care by the Travelling Wilburys. My number 8 is I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner. My number 7, and this is the first song we both mentioned, and that's Here I Go Again.
Nice, there we go.
My number 6 is Another Neil Diamond song, and it's America, and that's also from the jazz singer film as well. So out the top 10 80 songs, there's 2 for the same album.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good picks.
We've got a couple of comments here. Got my dad saying, "Bonnie Tide is High." That's a good song.
Okay.
That was probably my dad's favorite song, favorite 80s song by a female singer. My dad said Operation Mindcrime, brilliant album, absolutely blew me away.
Yeah.
What's hard rock opera?
Yeah, same. Yeah. It blew me away as well when I first heard it.
And we got my mum watching as well. She loves the song Fast Car. Used to make up the lyrics to that.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I'll get to it for our top 5 songs of the 90s. So, what's your number 5, Bryer?
All right. So number 5. Let's see. I'm gonna go with this one first. This one's kind of a somewhat newer. I didn't really appreciate this song until earlier this year, but I'm going with the Smashing Pumpkins up first with the song 1979. Kind of their most commercial successful single they released. It's not too complicated, but it just has this really interesting vibe that I really gelled with. It was just, I don't know, I can hear a bit of longingness, a bit of nostalgia, I feel. So again, Billy Corgan has a very unique vocal style, which that's a turnoff, but I think it really suits his vocals for the most part. And the leading guitar line just very catchy. But yeah, I just think it's very interesting for this time, and yeah, definitely want to shout it out.
I've not heard that song before, so I'll definitely check it out after this live stream.
Yeah, I've heard. The reason why I got into Smashing Pumpkins was because Jason, of course, Jason the old millennial. He was kind of a Smashing Pumpkins fan. He recommended me the album, and yeah, that was definitely nice to hear.
Well, my number 5, and you've already mentioned it disbanded a bit earlier with one of your honorable mentions, and that's U2, and they're going with the song One by U2.
Right.
Yeah, it's my favorite song by U2, and I just love the vibe of the song, and I love the lyrics, and I think it's a song that if it came out today, I think it would be a massive hit for the band.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I absolutely love it, and it's got just everything you really want in a rock song, really. Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs of the 90s.
Yeah, great choice. Okay, number 4. Okay, and this is another one of those songs that I kind of grew to appreciate just recently, earlier this year. And I'm going to talk about some Oasis, and I'll go with my favorite song by Oasis, and that is Don't Look Back in Anger. I think if I remember correctly, I think Noel Gallagher's on the lead vocals, and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, he sounds great for this great on this track. He's had a, I mean, he definitely has a great voice in his own right, and the whole phrase "Don't look back in anger" just a great way to think. Of course, the Gallagher brothers seem to be contradicting themselves, but I digress. But regardless, it's still a great message. Regardless, I mean, again, again, there's so many things about it. Like, it sounds great. The guitars are really great. They sound really good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Number 4 is Oasis.
Got my dad singing Small Bit Teen Spirit. Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah, classic.
That's one that honorable mentions didn't quite make it into the top 5. But what's quite funny is my number 4 is also Don't Look Back in Anger.
There we go. Yeah, that's cool.
So I'll just go with what you said, but there's also quite a few Beatles references in
Oh
this
yeah,
song as well.
right.
And yeah, I didn't really realize that until fairly recently. But it made me love the song even more. I think without knowing that, it might have just been my number 5. But because of that, it's been number 4. And yeah, it's a fantastic song. It's my favorite song by Oasis. Is it your favorite song
Yeah, it's
by
my
them?
favorite. My favorite by them.
Cool. It's quite crazy that both have the same number 4.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
That's cool though. I like that.
yeah. So what's your number 3?
All right, number 3. I'm gonna go with, and this is another one I don't own on CD, but I definitely have heard it many times. It's by a band called New Radicals, and this is probably they're kind of a one-hit wonder, but their most popular their big hit was "You Get What You Give." You get what you give, and if you've not heard it, like, it's just this great kind of pop rock sort of song. I mean, there's just so much going on to it because you have great guitar. There's a great guitar, great like keyboard use on the track, and the vocalist, if I remember his name, is Greg Alexander. Like, he also has a pretty unique style, but it really goes well with the song. And the whole message of "You Get What You Give" is just a really pretty good message. Um, but yeah, it's like, if you haven't heard it, like, go listen to it. There's just so many great hooks to it and lots of ear candy, and yeah, I love it. It didn't quite come out, but it came out the year before I was born, so I guess there's a little bit of that connection. But yeah, it's my number 3.
I forgot you said the phrase ear candy.
Yeah,
I think
there we go.
I never heard it until you mentioned it before.
Yeah, just how we Americans describe whenever something catches your ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my number 3 is what is one of the biggest bands of the 90s, and it's Radiohead, and I've gone with
Okay,
the
cool.
song "Fleet Plastic Trees."
Yeah, oh
It's
yeah, that's a good
my
one.
favorite song of theirs, and it's one of the first songs I knew of theirs, and it's a very beautiful song. It's probably one of their most beautiful songs, and I think the lyrics are amazing in it, and it's definitely a song that is very relevant today as well.
Mm.
And I think Tommy York does one of his best vocal performances, if not his best vocal performance here, and it's just a fantastic song. It's just a brilliantly produced song that I never get tired of. So I guess my number 3. But a couple of years ago, I never even heard of that song. I found out about it because of one of my college teachers was a big fan of Radiohead, and he showed us a music video to that one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of similar thing. I didn't actually hear the song till this year, so yeah, but yeah, that's a good song. It's a good choice.
Do you have any CDs by Radiohead?
Yeah, I just have 2. I have OK Computer and The Bends.
I think The Bends is my favorite, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think OK Computer's probably their best album though.
yeah. I guess on a technical level, OK Computer is the best one, but I don't know. I still need to give both those albums some more listening because I think I've only heard both of them once, so I still need to go back to them.
But the song I really don't care for is Fitter Happier
Mm,
with the
yeah,
computer speaking.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I get why it's there. I mean, it's fits the tone, but yeah, it's definitely not a song you go back to on its own.
Well, it makes sense to be called OK Computer because I think,
Right.
well, I think that song's just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
but before we reveal our top two, we got somebody else here. We got Music Talk with John. Hello, the 80's Hungry Like the Wolf,
Okay.
Pyromania. Come on, Islet. Yeah,
Hmm.
Finally Me with Silence. Rock the Casbah.
All right. Cool.
Great varied choices there.
Yeah. Showed some love to Thomas Dolby there. That's cool.
Yeah. So our top two of the 1990s.
All right. Top two. Um, Going back to a legendary band, I'm going to talk about Pink Floyd, of course, off their 14th album, Division Bell, and I'm going to talk about the final track, which is High Hopes. I mean, I love one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs, even though this is kind of not the classic period. I still think this is a great song, and to me, the song is their swan song in a sense. Like this to me, this is the true final Pink Floyd album, in my opinion. Especially with High Hopes as the final track, which is just so beautiful. The piano on it, it has a very, not I wouldn't say haunting, but again, it goes back to the whole nostalgia, kind of longing for the better days. Um, but really, the big highlight of the song is the guitar solo at the very end, which is, I believe, it was a slide guitar he used, and one of the most beautiful guitar solos I've ever heard. I always choke up when I hear that solo. One of Gilmore's best playing on here, so that alone is why this is my number two. So yeah, love it.
I never checked out any late Pink Floyd stuff. I'm only familiar with the stuff in the 70s.
Mm, yeah,
So I'll have to give that song a listen.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great one, especially when you see the live footage when he does it. Yeah, it's spectacular.
Well, my number two is by REM. It's Everybody Hurts.
Thanks. That's another good
Yeah,
one.
it's a very emotional song, and yeah, it's very powerful song, and I love every single thing about it. There's not really too much else to really say other than that. It's a brilliant song, and yeah, it's probably in my top 50 songs of all time. It's my favorite REM song, but there are a couple of others. I sometimes think it's not my favorite, but no, Everybody Hurts is my favorite REM song. It's probably the most melodic song of theirs, but
Yeah,
the most melancholic
yeah, I
out of
agree.
the ones I've heard anyway.
Yeah,
But yeah, that gets my number two.
yeah, yeah. That's a really that's another good one.
Yeah,
All right, so
so
number one.
number one.
All
Yeah,
right, yeah. I mean, it's not going to be a shock to most people, but number one's got to be Queen. The show must go on. I mean, even though this wasn't the last song Freddie recorded, it definitely feels like it is, because even at the very end, he just gave it his all. I mean, I talked about it on my channel, the live stream with you and Jason, talking about our favorite Queen songs, and I already told the story. But yeah, I mean, allegedly this was done in one take. I don't think that's true, but I like to believe it's true. Even though it was written by Brian May, he wrote it with Freddie in mind, and it just, what a fitting way to close out this album. And it's a great song before Freddie would, of course, leave the earth. But yeah, it's definitely a song that keeps me motivated, it keeps me going, and again, I love it to death. So it's got to be my number one.
yeah. What year did that song release?
1991.
So
So the year he passed away.
yeah, it's definitely definitely one of their most emotional songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but my favorite song of the 1990s, and it's also my top 10 songs of all time, and it's "The Drugs Don't Work" by The Verve.
Oh, okay.
I've always loved this song, and it, it's got sort of a country sound to it as well, like a country rock sort of song. And it's not a very happy song, but it's still a beautiful song though. And I love the middle eight part of the song as well.
Mm.
And yeah, I think the lead singer of The Verve does Richard Ashcroft as his best vocal performance, and yeah, there was one point it used to be my favorite song of all time, but it's very close to being. But no, it's not. It's not my favorite song of all time, but it's my favorite song of the 1990s though. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
all right.
from the Urban Hymns album.
Wow, yeah, that's cool. I mean, I heard the Verve, but I don't think I've heard that song. But yeah, that sounds interesting.
I definitely recommend that. I recommend the whole Urban Hymns album. I think it came out in 1997,
All
so it
right.
was late 90s. But guess what? I'll get to it with the honorable mentions for the 1990s.
Okay. So honorable mentions from me. So first one, just go with Tarzan soundtrack with "You'll Be in My Heart" by Phil Collins. Yep, one of my favorite Phil Collins songs. Definitely nostalgic. Next one is Guns N' Roses with "November Rain."
Ooh,
Known that
yeah,
song, yeah, known that song for many years. My mom and my brother love it, so naturally it came to me.
that's my second favorite Guns N' Roses song.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite Guns N' Roses song. Yeah, it's a great one. Next, I'll show Meatloaf. I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Ooh, yeah.
Classic power ballad, one of Meatloaf's best vocals on it.
Mm-hmm.
Next, I don't own it on CD as well, but I'll quickly shout out Aerosmith with "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" from the Armageddon
Ooh, yeah.
soundtrack. Another fantastic ballad to them. I mean, I've known that again. Another song I've known since I was very young because my mom's a huge fan of that song. So I grew up loving it too. And then last honorable mention I'll show is Bob Dylan, and
Ooh,
I'm gonna shout out "Not Dark Yet." Very
ooh,
great
yeah.
song. Yeah, that's a very. I think
It,
it's a really
it's
underrated
it's
song
one
by
of my
him.
it's one of my favorite Bob Dylan albums. That one,
Yeah,
Time
it's
Out
a
of Mind.
yeah, really great.
Make You Feel My Love is on the album. That's
Yeah,
one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs.
yeah. I almost went with that one, but I think not. I like "Not Dark Yet" just a little bit more. I think I liked the more dark approach to
Yeah,
it.
I think Make You Feel My Love's quite overplayed because loads of people have covered it,
Yeah.
but I definitely know this song. I don't want to miss a thing. It was in the film. I think it was in Blades of Glory. Blades of Glory. I think
Okay.
it had Will Ferrell in it.
Okay. Interesting.
I've not seen the film Armageddon though.
Yeah, me
But
neither. I just know about
I'm
it.
not I'm not sure if it even appears in the movie that song,
I
but
think
it
yeah,
probably
if I
does
remember,
somewhere.
I think I've seen a clip of it, but I think it was just like I think it was just an a cappella version with just Steven Tyler singing in the background. Because it makes sense. It's an Armageddon because Steven Tyler's daughter is one of the lead actors in it. So easy,
But
easy grab there.
it was quite cool you were showing a song from that Tarzan movie because I'm actually watching all the Disney Renaissance films for the first time.
Oh wow, okay.
I'd only seen half of them. I've got three more to watch, and I'm going to be doing a live stream on that with Jacob Martin.
Oh okay.
We're
Oh,
going to be
that'd be
ranking
cool.
all the Disney Renaissance films.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be nice to see.
Looking forward to watching that one. I think that was the last one that came out in the Disney
Yeah, I think
Renaissance.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was I think yeah, Tarzan was the last one. If I remember correctly.
yeah. We got ready to talk with John, talk about his favourite songs in the 90s. Smells Like Teen Spirit, Alive, Drive's a great one, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
Creep, yeah.
Yeah,
Rooster Bars, Alice in Chains, I've not heard that one. But
yeah, haven't
my
yeah.
own mentions for the uh, the 90s. If I can find the right thing, there we go. Right. So my honorable mentions is Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. That's my number 10. My number 9 is Man on the Moon by REM. And number 8 is Something in the Way by Nirvana. That's my favourite Nirvana song.
That's
And
good.
my number 7 and number 6 are both from the same Radiohead album. And that's OK Computer. My number 7 is Let Down. My number 6 is Paranoid Android.
All right. Yeah, those great songs from that album.
I may be paranoid, but I'm not an android.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the lines from it, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Our favourite songs, the 80s and 90s. Next time we're going to do it for the 2000s. I think we'll do our top 10 songs of 2000s So 2000 all the way to 2023. Got 23 years of music there. So
Yeah,
we'll do that as a top 10
yeah, I
at
think
some point.
it's possible. Yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah. It'll probably be the hardest one to do though.
Probably, but yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see on that one. But it was great to have you on my channel once again, Bryer.
Yeah,
And I've
again,
got his
thanks for
channel
having
link
me.
in the
This was
description
fun.
below. Please go ahead and subscribe to him. He's close to 1,500 subscribers. I think you're about 30 subscribers away.
I think I am less than 70. I think somewhere around there.
Very close.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
close.
And I'm trying to get to 500. I'm very close to getting there. And I think soon I'm going to be doing a contest to try and get me to 500.
Mm,
The third contest I've done on my channel. So I'm
cool.
looking forward to hosting that soon.
All right.
I'll probably do it sometime in August. Late August, probably. It would have been about a year ago since I did my first contest, the space scene one.
Yeah, I
It
remember
just
that.
feels like it was a few weeks ago I did that contest.
I know. Some of these things just fly by.
I still can't believe I won one of your contests. That
Mhm.
concept album one.
Oh yeah.
It must have taken a while to come up with that idea.
Yeah, it was just something that was kind of brewing for a while, and so I thought, let's just go for it.
Yeah. So do you have what videos have you got planned on your channel? And then you talk about your favorite albums of the 70s.
Yep. So that's the one that's currently going on. I'm still going through my CD collection, so just
Yeah.
2 more episodes to go. So I'm getting there. Then probably I already released episode 7 earlier today. 2 more videos are kind of already planned. Is that I'm gonna go through the Eagles albums and name my favorite songs from each album.
Ooh,
And then
cool.
after that, we'll be going through what I bought at the record store recently, and then probably go back to 1973.
I think you should rank more album covers again. I enjoy when you did that for Queen when you're right there. Album covers.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back to those at some point.
Don't do it for someone like Johnny Cash though, because it'd be a really long video.
Yeah,
Yeah, 40
probably,
minutes long.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
not for a while.
But the videos I've got planned is Wednesday. I'm going to be doing my video, my top 5 John Lennon songs. The reason why I chose then is because it's the 9th of August and 9 is John Lennon's favourite number.
Right.
And I'm going to be doing a YouTube short soon on showing my Lego display and also my live stream display as well. You can see some of it behind me. I've got my Funkos behind me in my live streams now.
Yeah, it looks great back there.
Just decided to go with something different. Decided to display on my Funkos rather than being in storage. So the what the gym picture I had is now cut in half. And I'm not sure what we've done with the frame, but we'll probably sell that.
Oh, okay.
But I think that's it for this live stream. Do you have any final words, Bryer?
Nothing. Just again, thanks for having me. It's always fun, and yeah, we'll
Great.
do the 2000s. Yeah, should be interesting.
We'll do that in the next month or two. But I'd appreciate it if you'd leave this live stream a like. Until next time, everyone. Ciao. Ciao.